Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be mixing random things into putty. These putties are from Mythical Slimes, so thank you so much for sending me these. This one is called Unicorn Horn. All of these putties come in bags and you cut them up and you just take them out. They're in quality containers. This one is absolutely stunning. It's clear. It has some iridescent glitters in it. It doesn't feel like a typical putty to me. A typical one is usually hard and not as stretchy and not as pokeable, but this one you can kind of poke it. So I asked you guys on Instagram to give me some suggestions on what to mix into putties. One of them happens to be instant snow, so I will be doing that. I added a teaspoon of instant snow and then added some water. And then I just mixed them together. So I didn't know what to expect because putties and slime are different. Is the snow going to melt putty like how it can melt the slimes? I wasn't sure. At first, the snow was just sticking to the putty, but I decided to add a lot more of the snow, and this is what I got. I was really fascinated by this because the clear putty completely disappeared and now it's just all instant snow and it's sticky and crumbly. I tried reactivating it and nothing was happening, so this was essentially a fail, and I do not recommend adding a lot of instant snow to putty. Even though putty is hard and you would think that maybe adding the snow would soften it, but you gotta be careful in how much snow you add though. Moving on to this putty, this one is called Unicorn Dreams, and this one feels like a typical putty. The one before is much softer. So based off of the most requested suggestions, floam beads, I'm going to be mixing floam beads into this one, micro floam beads to be specific. And here is the final look. The metallic part disappeared, but that's okay. This actually looks like a floam. It doesn't even look like putty anymore, so that's pretty cool. This one is called Unicorn Poop. Now this one feels similar to the Unicorn Dreams, but slightly tougher. And the metallic shine on this is poppin'. Okay, I'll stop. Yeah, that's... No, okay. By the way, if you guys are ever interested in any of these putties, you can use the code CheeksXO3 for 15% off. So the next ingredient that I'm going to be adding is shaving foam. So I started off small because I didn't know what to expect, and then I went on and added more later on. Of course, whenever you mix shaving foam into anything, it's bound to get messy, but good thing it's washable and it's easy to clean. This is what the putty looks like now after mixing all that shaving cream. I would say that it's definitely much softer and I could poke it easily. It's not fluffy though, but it's nice. A lot of you wanted me to mix clay into putty, so I'll be using Daiso clay for this. This putty is called Unicorn Dreams, which is the bigger version of the one that you saw before, but this one is green, and this is beautiful. And because the Daiso clay is a pretty big size compared to these putties, I'm going to be mixing more than one putty, and this one is called Unicorn Tears. This was actually pretty tough to mix in, probably because the putties are tough. Besides the Unicorn Tears, that one is a softer putty. I decided to add a third putty because I felt that two weren't enough. When I was mixing both of the putties into the clay, they both just disappeared into the deep abyss. So I was wondering if adding a third one would maybe change it up. And this is what it all came out to be. Now, one thing I noticed is that there is no color change. It still remained white, so that was interesting. And also, this feels like a tougher version of a butter slime. Like, it's definitely not that because butter slimes are usually soft. This feels like a tough, stretchy dough slash clay, even though I used clay. But that's what I got. Here we have kinetic sand as requested by you guys. I am using about 1/4 cup of this. This putty is called Unicorn Dreams. A lot of these putties are similar, meaning like the bigger putties are just the bigger version of the smaller sized ones. So this one does look similar to the clear putties that I have shown you guys. So I'm adding that into the kinetic sand to see what is going to be the textures. I wonder. This is what it looks like. It looks like sand, a sand slime, although it does not stretch like slime, but surprisingly the kinetic sand stuck to the putty well. It's very fitting that I chose a clear putty for this because when I chose which putties to add these ingredients in, I just picked randomly and whatever putty I got is what I'm going to use to add the ingredients in. And finally, the last ingredient that I'm going to be adding into putty is cornstarch. This one is called Unicorn Blood and it reminds me of the Northern Lights. So pretty, has blues, greens, and purple colors along with glitter. So how many of you guys like the sound of cornstarch mixing? I know some people don't. I'm okay with it, but I can cringe sometimes because it reminds me of fingernails scratching on a chalkboard, but not as severe as that. One thing that I do want to mention is that some of these things that were mixed into putty, such as the instant snow and the clay, I don't know in general how putties are made, but the stickiness parts would get all over your hands and soap and water would not wash them off. I had to let my hands sit in baby oil before I used soap and water because they were being so stubborn. Just something to keep in mind. I don't know if all putties are like this. So this is what the putty looks like after mixing in the cornstarch. It turned it into this light gray color. It did become softer, but not a dramatic change. It also feels like stretchy dough. And that is it to this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next one.